Today is all about being on the road. It's now just coming up to 5 o'clock, and at last I get to sit down. So I've already been to the hospital, so I won't be going tonight. So I think pretty much when I'm finished here, I'm just going to relax for the rest of the evening and perhaps have another early night like what I did last night. So it's this video I was supposed to do yesterday, and it is to do with, when people speak, all my videos I speak about myself. I mean, who am I supposed to talk about? I think it's best to talk about yourself and your own experiences. I mean, if you don't have anything to say that is of any importance or of any interest, then it's best to keep quiet. But if you do have things to say, and in my strong opinion, I do have things to say, then I think say them you should. So the reason I was going to do the video, but it was an energy situation. I didn't have the energy yesterday to do videos. I was watching a video on YouTube, and this woman, she's a really nice person, the way she comes across, nice energy, she's just down to earth. And apparently people have been accusing her of being a narcissist, because when she talks on her videos, she says I and me a lot. But that's because she's speaking from her perspective as she sees it. In this case, it being Harry and Meghan. Now, I like people, I'm more inclined to listen to a YouTuber if they just say it like it is. I'm not into pretty language. When I say pretty language, I'm not into people who, if you like, they're neither hot or cold. They're nothing, something in the middle. In fact, I'm not into cold either. I like people who are strong in their views, and they're not ashamed of coming out and saying what they have to say, and not afraid. So this woman comes across as somebody like that. She doesn't swear, she's not offensive, nothing like that. So I was quite surprised that she was saying some people are calling her narcissistic. But surprised from the perspective of them saying it to her, but not surprised because that's what people do. When people don't like what you're saying, they call you names. So now, I am somebody, I always talk about me. In the book I talk about me, everything I talk about me, because I'm giving you my personal experience of the thing that I'm selling. So if I'm selling self-improvement, then I'm going to tell you how it works for me. So I will come back and I'll tell you about my day shortly, which I've been posting on Facebook. But of course, there will be people who are damn lazy, who just sit and do nothing, or just go through the motions, who will look and say, oh, she's just showing off. Because as in the case with this woman, where she's being called narcissistic, that's what happens when people don't like what you say, what you do, what you look like, what you stand for. They're going to find fault with you. Those grapes are sour. So anyway, if I'd had the energy, I would have left her a comment. But I like people who just say it like it is. And I'm one of those people who say it like it is. And I don't have respect for people who'd rather me not say it like it is. And I posted earlier on Facebook that I'm culling my second category of people. I've already culled the first lot. I've gotten rid of all the COVID idiots. So I've gotten rid of everybody. No, these days nobody talks to me about their fears or try to spread fear into me with regards coronavirus. So I've got rid of all the people who are saying, oh, the police are out there trying to catch people. They're fining people. Whatever it is, whatever the fear is. Nobody speaks to me about that anymore because I got rid of them. Now, my next target are people who are, if you like, pretentious, wishy-washy, who live to please people, who, like in my case, they might, because I am the way I am, there are people who, they like what I say. But like, for example, if I post on Facebook, they will agree with me, they will love what I say. And I know this because if I see them, or or sometimes they might message me, they will tell me, but they will not come out and show support or leave a comment or anything. The reason being, they are friends, more so church people. They are friends, or they are part of that setup, and they don't want the people in their setup to know that they have contact with me, or that they agree with me, or that they associate with me, or that they have anything to do with me, basically. So all of those people I'm getting rid of, not because of any of how I feel, or because perhaps I feel slighted, or I don't feel valued. Nothing at all to do with how I feel. I'm just getting rid of people who refuse to develop, right? Because I've said I'm all about self-development. I don't care what people think of me, but I'm sort of trying to enter a different phase. So like I said to my sister at the hospital last night, I told her, I actually mentioned one person that I'm getting rid of. And I said, because if, we know people, and we all right, so it's a bit like somebody actually used my example today. Well done, Alex Belfield. I think it was Alex. So yeah, it was him, about teachers. This is something I've said about teachers. I'm not a fan of teachers, right? Granted, I don't know every teacher that has ever existed or walks the face of the earth now. I don't know all of them, but I do know that as a rule I don't like teachers. And I've said they go through the process, exact process like what Alex said. They go to nursery, they go to primary school, they go to secondary school, they go to college, they go to university, they go back to school. So they're forever in the school system. And it's the same thing that I have against people in the medical profession. It's just certain types of people I have something against. Not because I've got it in for them, but it's just the way they conduct themselves. It gets a certain reaction out of me. So I'd rather not have anything to do with that type of people. The other type of people are religious people. Not all of them are the same, but you should get where I'm coming from with this. So in order for them to be Christ-like, as they claim they're trying to be more like Jesus type thing. In order for them to be Christ-like, to be, on the surface nice and friendly and loving and all of that, it requires them to be hypocrites. Because in their own lives there's no progress, there's nothing going on. So for me, one of the things I've had people say to me was, I should slow down and wait for others to catch up. This is church leaders. Slow down and wait for others to catch up. Or if I'm not satisfied with the rate of progress, or with what I'm being asked to do at that basic level, it's because I'm proud. So it's always find fault with the person rather than investigate the actual situation and see the fault of the group, right? So I've decided that I'm getting rid of everybody who hides behind the curtain, who can't come out in the public and say what they mean to say, or support the thing that they support. So this is my next thing, because I know if you want to progress in life, you have to take steps, right? It's not going to happen of its own accord. Change doesn't come of its own accord. You have to take steps, unless something happens in your life over which you have no control. Change doesn't come like that. You have to take the steps for it to come. So like I said, I'm getting rid of people. So I want to go back to the thing where this woman, where she came, and it's like she had to come and explain herself to people. And I thought, why are you doing this? Just make your videos and don't give a damn if people, the people who value what you're saying and value truth will stick with you, and those who don't, they will sod off. Just let it be that. So I I'm a very playful, mischievous type of person. So whenever I'm out on the road, I tend to post pictures, or previously before lockdown, every time I was going out, I'd do the old selfie in front of the mirror. And that would be more me sort of, if you like, taking my Facebook friends with me on my night out. So it's like, this is me, here's what I'm wearing, and then I'd go where I'm going and I'd maybe do a Facebook Live or something. But of course, if you look better than someone, they, oh, look at her showing off this, that, somebody's going to come out and say something. There's going to be criticism, there's going to be hatred. I remember one, like, I've got this curly wig, if you see my pictures. So I've got this curly wig. And for me, it's more about, it's not sort of like being ashamed of my natural hair. It's just my natural hair takes time, right? And if I've got time, then of course I wear my natural hair. But sometimes it's, for me, like putting a wig on is like putting on a hat, right? It's just convenience. And I remember one woman came on my Facebook page. I posted a picture of me going out, and she goes, "I like your hair," knowing full well that it was a wig. And at that point, she thought she had me in a situation. And I said, "Thanks, it's a wig." That's how you just shut people down, right? So I know that when I go out and I put pictures up and I'm showing off whatever it is, even though people cannot read my mind necessarily, there are people who understand my sense of humor, my wit, and they will get where I'm coming from. And as well, sometimes I put things up for future reference as evidence of things to come. So, but it's like sometimes it's just too much information, so it's easier just to take a picture, just to write a short post or something. But of course, people who are not on the same level, they interpret it differently. So, like I said, so what she said resonated. But for me, I don't explain myself to people. I think, good, if you want to judge me, then that's your problem. But you're going to get slapped in the face when reality hits. So, so it's just pretty much that, really. It was just to talk about. I mean, she was pretty. I think I don't like to interpret people's emotions, but I think she could have been, I don't want to say she was upset, could have been upset that people interpreted what she does with the wrong spirit. But those are probably people who are Meghan and Harry fans, who, no matter what she said, as long as you're speaking against them, they're going to find fault with you. But I just kind of thought, how can anyone interpret her as a narcissist? She's just talking, she's saying, this is my opinion, this is what I think, this is, what I make of the situation, what I make of them. But like I said, for me, I'm always talking about me, because who else am I supposed to talk about? I've got fantastic examples that I can share. I said I was going to tell you about my day, and I will begin. What time is it now? Let's see. It is now, actually it's not 5 yet, it's 4:48. And this morning, because the clocks went back, I was pleasantly surprised. I woke up and the sun was up. So, make hay while the sun shines. So I decided to start. I've got this massive blind. It's 96 inches wide by 81 inches long. And my plan for the weekend was to make 4 blinds. I've made the sum total of no blinds. But I did all the preparation. So I got up this morning and I thought, okay, I need to leave here at between 9:30 to 9:40. So I worked and I made good progress. I'm not that far. I haven't got that much left to do, so I can actually finish this evening if I choose to. But so I managed to get some work done, and then literally I was on the road until I got back in, I think around about 4 o'clock. So I had to go and deliver 4 cushion covers, and then when I was on the train going to another job to look at a window and look at the curtains, etc., to see what I needed to do, because they bought ready-made curtains and I needed to just alter them so they match the one I made for the bedroom. So, but I like to see the window myself, so I know what the dimensions are and what I'm working with. So went, collected those, and when I was on the train, I believe I was on the train going to collect, I got a phone call to say we're 1 cushion cover short. So I needed to make 1 in another fabric. but I will chuck this in as the God bit to say, when I was leaving, it's not so much that I forgot to take the fabric. I couldn't see it, and I was packing in a hurry. And if I can't see something, then I'll just leave it. If it's non-essential. So fortunately, I had the fabric here, so it wasn't like I had to get off the train and go back, collect the fabric, and then come back. So I said, well, I will make it and I'll bring it back. But I had to get to the hospital for 2 o'clock this afternoon. I'll come back to that in a second. And so I came back and literally dropped the bag and cut out the squares, 2 squares, and made a cushion cover and was back out. So I think I got back in here about 12:10, and I was back on the road half an hour later. So back on the road, back to where I came from, and then from there to the hospital. But due to the trains, if the train had come at that time when I was at the station, I would have got to the hospital for 2. So what I had to do was I had to call ahead to say that I would be running late. I mean, it wasn't vital that I got there for 2. Anytime after 2 would have worked. So, but I managed to get there, and with all of that traveling that I did today, I won't be doing a hospital visit tonight because I've been, and you're only allowed to visit once for the day. So I can actually have a restful evening for once in my life. But just one point on Mother. So when I was leaving the hospital, I called her briefly just to give her an update. And she said, why didn't you let me talk to her? And I've already just described my morning, my running up and down and everything, getting to the hospital and back. Because the reason I had to go, they wanted to show me this piece of equipment that I need to get my sister out of bed, and like if she needs to use a toilet or to sit in a chair, just a piece of equipment I needed to know how to with all the different functions that it does. So that's what I went for, so they could show me, because she's being released this week. So I've done all of these things, and Mother said, oh, you didn't let me speak to her. So you see, so when I say that I'm sort of cutting people off, I'm trying to not have associations or dealings with people who refuse to grow. Because growth, we as human beings, we may not grow physically. We get to a certain point and our physical growth ends. But mentally, spiritually, we can become as big as we want, or we can remain as small as we choose to. And so I just think I want to be as big as possible. You can just sort of put the effort in. Just because you have better life experiences. Like I keep saying, I have a fantastic life, irrespective of everything going on. I love life. And so the more, the bigger your mind, the bigger your spirit. Again, physically, the healthier you are, the better experiences you can have. You can have the kind of life you want, rather than the kind of life you're restricted to. And I know there are people that I know who are not much older than me, or even some are younger, and they've ruined their health because they didn't invest. They didn't take time, not so much exercise, but there's just certain things that you can do to stay on top of your health. So, for example, this morning I didn't have time to eat. It was too early to eat, really, by the time I was going out. So what I did, I took a piece of ginger with me, because ginger gives you energy, and I was just chewing on that for as long as it lasted. And the energy I got from that kept me going until I came back home at 4. Sorry, not home, my sister's place. Till I came back here at 4. And I've just had something to eat. So it's just, there's higher knowledge out there, and it's all about whether you, like I said with this woman, are you going to let people make you stay small, or silence you, or prevent you from doing the things that you need to do for yourself in order to grow, in order to have experiences? It's literally, like I said, the 2 things that are most important. anyone decides to take on board a development program, discipline and assertiveness. You've got to have discipline and you've got to be assertive. If you're not assertive, you won't be able to, it doesn't matter how much discipline you've got, you're not going to be able to do the things that you need to do, because you won't be able to. If someone's trying to pull you this way, you'll say, okay then, because you're not assertive enough. Nobody pulls me anywhere. If I say, I can be here even if I'm just sitting here resting, doing nothing, and that's what I want to do. If it doesn't matter who the person is. If you try to pull me, like my mother, she's been trying to get me to come over, she wants to come over, whatever. If I don't want something to happen, it's not going to happen. And that's how you have a good life. I know people say, we've got to make allowances for other people, but I believe that if people worked on themselves, we would need to make allowances for them less. We wouldn't need to sort of people talk in terms of tolerating others. If more often than not, we're being asked to tolerate things that can be helped. With a little bit of development, we wouldn't have to tolerate that person, or they wouldn't have to tolerate us. So there's pretty much, there's a lot there, I think, of, to pick through. But it's primarily, like I said, I would be viewed as a narcissist because I'm always putting up pictures and whatever. But if you understood my psychology, like my sense of humor and all of that, you would see the humor, and you would see that a lot of what I'm doing is quite subversive. Is that I can't say these words. I can write them, but I can't say them because my first language isn't. Well, even though I was born here in the UK, my first language is Jamaican patois, because that's what I speak most of the time, like with family and my friends. Subversive, I believe the word is. So I'm that kind of person. But my haters, well, they're not my haters, they don't belong to me. People who do not like me, let's say that, they will always be looking for something to criticize. So they can, I don't know, they may never watch any of my videos, but I like to put things out there, and in due course all these things will come back at such a point as they're necessary. And as you can see, it's getting dark, so I'm off.